Hello all, in this video we will be discussing basics about truss frames and cables. So let us start with trusses. Truss is nothing but a framework which is composed of straight members connected at joints, and these joints are located at the ends of each member. So this is an example of a truss, and this is a single member at the end of which another member is connected. At the end of this another member, there is another single member is connected. So when these various single members are connected together, that is called as a truss. Truss, every member of the truss carries either axial tension or axial compression. So it is basically a two-force member. A two-force member will always carry either axial tension or axial compression. So that is a truss. A frame is also made to carry loads, but it is a multi-force members. That means on a frame there are more than two forces can be acting, and those forces can be acting in various different directions. Those are not equal and opposite forces that are acting on the member. So that is a frame. This is an example of a truss, and this is an example of your frame. Here there are three members and there is moment and external force all acting. So this will be considered as frame. Let us discuss about zero force members in a truss. When will be the member of a truss carry zero force? When the two members are acting at a point and there is no external force acting on the joint, then it will be a zero force member. If two forces, if two members are collinear and the third member is perpendicular to it, then this perpendicular member will carry zero force. When the support line of action of support and the force is collinear. So here if the support is like this, then this member will be zero force member, and if the line of action of force or support is like this, then this will be a zero force member. So this is a zero force member. Now let us discuss some basic assumptions that we need to do while solving a truss. So basic assumptions are all members of truss are two force members. That is, there will either be axial tension or they will either be in axial compression. We assume, while determining unknown member forces, we assume that all these forces are actually tensile forces. No effect of bending is considered even if the weight is considered. The weight is actually very small. Weight of each and every member, weight of this member, single member, as compared to the weight of the entire truss is very small, and that is why the weight of individual member is not considered. External forces are always applied at the joint of a truss. If this is a joint, if this is a truss, then external forces will only be applied on the joint and nowhere else. These joints can be welded or riveted, and pin joint if the member center lines are concurrent at the joint. So these are the basic assumptions that we have while solving trusses. Now to solve trusses there are two basic methods. One is method of joints and another is method of sections. Before that, let us discuss a point called determinate and indeterminate truss. A determinate truss is the one which solves the equation M equals to 2J minus R. If the truss satisfies the equation M equals to 2J minus R, then that is considered as determinate truss. Whereas if the truss does not satisfy the equation 2J minus R, then it will be considered as indeterminate truss. Here in this equation M equals to 2J minus R, M stands for members of truss, J stands for number of joints in a truss, and R stands for reactions developed. at the truss. So if M is equals to 2j minus r, then the truss is determinate. A determinate truss is solvable using conditions of equilibrium. That means if this truss satisfies M equals to 2j minus r, then that truss can be solved using basic conditions of equilibrium, which is summation of forces in x, y equals to 0 and summation of moment equals to 0. If the truss does not satisfy the equation M is not equals to 2j minus r, that means it is an indeterminate truss. That means it cannot be solved using conditions of equilibrium. Okay, it cannot be solved using conditions of equilibrium. Now let us take this case for example. If M is not equals to 2j minus r, means either M can be greater than 2j minus r or M can be less than 2j minus r. If M is greater than 2j minus r, that means that the truss is over rigid truss. If M is greater than 2j minus r, then that means the truss is over rigid truss, or it can be also called as redundant truss, or it can also be called as redundant truss. Whereas if M is less than 2j minus r, it will be called as deficient truss. It will be called as deficient truss or non-rigid truss. So these are basic types of trusses. A truss can be determinate or indeterminate. A determinate truss, how will you determine a determinate truss? If a truss is determinate, it will satisfy the equation of M equals to 2j minus r, and if it is indeterminate, it won't satisfy the equation of M equals to 2j minus r. If M is not equal to 2j minus r, that means there are only two conditions. Either M is less than 2j minus r or M is more than 2j minus r. If M is less than 2j minus r, means it is a deficient truss or non-rigid truss, or if M is more than 2j minus r, that means over rigid truss or redundant truss. We will see an example based on both the methods in the another video. Thank you.